Hey, what's going on, everyone? It is Mike here, and in case you missed it, we had quite a wild night in North Wilkesboro last night. From some rained out qualifying to a few crashes to some really strange penalties that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Well, it was all over the place. And I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to do a little race overview, give some of my takeaways, give my disappointment or appointments of the night, performance and performances of the night, and of course, this is a diecast channel, so I'm going to do the paint schemes of the night, right? We got to go ahead and do that. Yes, this is a little new series I'm going to do, maybe after every race, maybe after every couple, I'm not too sure. And we'll kind of just break down exactly what happened in those races and give you those 5 categories that I just named. So let's get it started here with the race overview. So we'll take a look at the bottom of the table here first. 3 cars did not finish. That's Fincham, Barry, Allmendinger. Barry and Allmendinger had some wrecks there that couldn't finish, and Fincham had some car problems. You can see the rest of the bottom of the list here as it's on the screen. And if we go up to the top of the list here, only the top 6 finished on the lead lap. That's Logano, of course, he's your winner. Hamlin, Briscoe, Gibbs, SVG, and Wallace all finished on the lead lap. Everybody else was at least 1 lap down, if not more, all over the place for this race. But we got to give our flowers to Mr. Joey Logano. I mean, it was a dominating win. It was his first of the year, and it was really a special win for him. He brought his son out in his car to ride shotgun with him on the back half of the victory lap there. It was really cool to see. Super happy for Joey. He started 11th, finished first, and I mean, it was a dominating win for him. He pretty much had that in the bag kind of from the start of the 3rd stage, if not even before that. It was a heck of a win for him. But one guy that tried to give him a little trouble was Mr. Denny Hamlin. He started in 7th, ended up finishing in 2nd. He was in it for most of the race, but just couldn't get close enough to Logano to pull ahead. Another guy that did have a chance, and if some things didn't go wrong, might have just been there with Logano, is Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs started in 2nd. He ended up finishing in 4th, which sounds bad, right? He went down 2 spots, but no, he had a great race. He had a speeding penalty that set him back pretty bad, but he recovered super well, and if he would have gotten up just a little bit more, if this race was a couple more laps, he would have challenged Joey Logano, I think, for that top spot. It was overall a good race by Ty Gibbs, and I know he wasn't happy, but you got to give him his credit, too. He did pretty well, all things considered. SVG's another one. Wow, really surprising, right? I mean, he showed up to snag some big stage points, and that was an overall solid performance. I mean, he's proven that he's a solid racer on any track, not just race courses anymore, and he led most of that first stage as well. I mean, he was doing real well for what we've seen from SVG, and I feel like I've been seeing a lot of him as of late. Just to top it all off, his hilarious comments of when he gets in the lead of, okay, I'm in the lead, what do I do now? That was kind of your comedic moment of the night there for SVG. Chase Briscoe as well did a great job. Started in 30th, ended up in 3rd. That was pretty good for him. That's the biggest climb of anybody tonight. So Chase Briscoe, I mean, he deserves a ton of credit here as well. It was a great performance for him. Happy to see it from him. Guy who maybe didn't do too well on the other side of the spectrum, Christopher Bell, started in 3rd where Chase finished, but he ended up in 19th. There was a lot of complications with him, and he just couldn't really recover. And, you know, after 2 second-place finishes in a row, you're thinking, come on, this is going to be his time. He's starting way up there in front. He was looking good in practice. It just didn't come down to it, did it? Feel sad for him, and we'll see if we can get him next week in Indianapolis. Another guy who kind of underperformed here was Carson Hocevar. I mean, he's the talk of the town, right? Everybody knows him. Whether they like him, whether they hate him, whatever it is, you got to give him his respect. He's been racing pretty well. He started in 4th and ended up in 13th. He kind of just disappeared after the first half of the race. I don't know if it was car troubles, what exactly was going on, but yeah, Mr. Hocevar, he was there and then he just wasn't there. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he did disappear. One guy that shocked me very much, and I haven't really seen anything from him so far, was Todd Gilliland. 18th to 8th place. Just signed a new contract. Is it some high momentum? I don't know, but he had a heck of a race, and he still kind of kept it under the radar for most of that race, even though he did finish in the top 10. Solid performance for Todd Gilliland. Cool to see. Another one who didn't do too well, Mr. Tyler Reddick. He had an accident with Alex Bowman. Never really got back to how he should have been. And we've been seeing a lot of this unfortunate circumstances from Tyler Reddick, and this was another one. He's falling fast on the scoreboard, and Denny Hamlin with that performance is just putting that gap between them, getting bigger and bigger. And speaking of that wreck too, just what happened with Daniel Suarez crossing the line to go into pit road and then deciding, I'm not going to. I'm going to get back on track. Personally, I was very confused. Again, I'm newer to this. I'm trying to figure out the rules of NASCAR and how a lot of this stuff works. If someone can explain that to me, I'm confused. I don't know. Maybe you guys are confused too. If someone can explain that to me, that would be awesome. I don't know why he didn't get a penalty. And I also don't know why he didn't just go down pit road. Again, maybe I'm dumb, and it's an obvious reason that I'm not seeing. You're already committed. Just go to it. He wasn't going to get in the accident. I don't know if he wanted to avoid going to pit road if there was about to be a caution, but it doesn't really seem like that would make a lot of sense, because if you're going to pit anyways on the caution, like, why not just do it there? I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at that the wrong way. But anyways, next performer who had a sad, unfortunate day, AJ Allmendinger, banged the wall, screwed up his tire, and he was out for the remainder of the race. And if you look back to last week in Atlanta, he was not happy with his performance last week. He was very upset at himself, and he was saying, man, why am I even out here anymore? I'm done, blah, blah, blah. And I hope that this doesn't further that idea for him, because he had one of the sweetest cars, if not the sweetest car out there today. I mean, beautiful car. I was sad to see him go in early. He started in 35th in the back, and he ended up finishing in last because he was the first to go out. Sad to see for AJ Allmendinger. I hope nothing happens to him and he keeps positive and tries to keep his head above water, and it will come back. It was 2 bad weeks in a row, but I don't know. I'm hoping for the guy that he's going to stick around and he has a little bit better of a reaction next time, I suppose. Another guy who didn't have a great night, Josh Berry. He was another wrecker who ended up not finishing the race. He got spun around, and it didn't look like a terrible wreck, really, but I don't know, on these short tracks, I guess it's a little bit tougher when you get in a wreck. Obviously, it's much tinier, the tracks themselves. You don't have as much room to navigate, so if something does happen, you're more likely to hit a wall very quick. So he finished in 36, second to last. He was running decent until that point, but his night got ended when that wreck happened. Sad to see. Another one that was a little confusing to me, Ryan Blaney. On paper, he started in first. There was some type of penalty that I wasn't too sure what the penalty was. Again, if you guys know, please help me out. Fill me in on that. I was a little confused at the Blaney penalty. I was very confused at it, but he did have a solid comeback, all things considered, even though he was starting in the back of that pack. But that got put to a halt as well for having a speeding penalty going down pit road. No, Blaney, what happened? He ended up finishing in 11th. That's a rough one. Similar to Ty Gibbs with that speeding penalty going down pit road. It's a lot of penalties on this track. I don't know if it's just they haven't raced here in so long or what exactly was going on, but really weird race. A lot of weird penalties. For me as a newer fan, it was a little confusing to watch. A lot of this race was very confusing and new and kind of a learning experience for me. Not a penalty here, but a little bit more of pit road drama. Kyle Larson smashing into Connor Zilic. Coming out of his pit stall, Zilic was coming in, and boom! Good little collision there. That kind of screwed Larson over for a lot of the night. He started really far back. He started in 27th, ended up finishing in 15th, so technically it was a positive night, but you'd expect a little bit more, and I expected a little bit more from Kyle Larson. That was rather unfortunate. It kind of kept him sidelined for a little while. And speaking of unfortunate, I mean, Connor Zilic, again, he finished a race. Okay, he finished a race, so that's good, right? He hasn't been finishing many races. He's a young guy. He started in 32nd. He finished in 32nd. It's not a night to remember for him. His time will come. It's going to be a little while, and I think getting banged around in that little pit road accident with Larson probably screwed his car up a little bit. I don't know if that affected the driving or if it just short track, this new track was a little scary to him. Who knows? They didn't even get to qualify. They did get to practice, but not getting to qualify either. You know, he would have been a few spots higher, I would imagine. Unfortunate day for him. And one more guy, probably, I wouldn't say the most unfortunate, but a very high level of unfortune here for Ross Chastain. Again, confused a little bit, but it sounds like he did not pass inspections pre-race multiple number of times, and it really put him back where he would have been, in quotes, starting in 13th, but he had to start in the back, and then he was already a lap down. He ended up making that lap back up, but then just couldn't keep up and kept falling back and back and back, and you just never really saw Ross that whole race. That's a shame because he had an awesome car that race as well, but yeah, that's kind of the overview of what happened this race. My personal takeaway, I don't mean this in a bad way. We've had some really good races. This was my least favorite race so far. It was my first short track race that I've seen, so it was very new, but it was very confusing. Like I said, the penalties and all this. I still enjoyed it. It's only the fourth race that I've seen so far to completion, and there really wasn't as much action outside of the first two stages, really. Right, that last stage, it was just Logano leading, and Hamlin's getting close. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he's getting close. Oh, no, he's not. He didn't have too much of a challenge up there, Logano, which he was a dominating driver all night, don't get me wrong, but for the entertainment value, it just wasn't there as much as the last few races where we saw a lot of lead changes. Everyone's close. The pack is really tight, but I get it. It's a short track race. It's not going to be the same as a super speedway. We didn't have many wrecks. We didn't have many cautions. It was kind of nonstop racing. It was easy to keep up with in a way, but the overlapping, and this guy's 2 laps down, now this guy's 3 laps down, it was a little hard to keep up with, again, for me, being a newer fan, not being used to these short track races. I don't know, are they usually this clean? I kind of would have expected more wrecks, I guess, and just some more action, people trying to dive below and get ahead and this and that. It didn't seem like there was much of it. I don't know, you guys let me know. But it was the first points race at North Wilkesboro in a very long time. Cool to see it happen. Cool to see it come back. I know they did some all-star races there. I think the past 3 years it was. So cool to see that come back and watch the race. It seemed like a party there. It really did. Crowd seemed absolutely ignited. It was probably an awesome race to be there for. And I don't know, overall, I just feel like short track races would be a little bit more chaotic. Maybe no one's comfortable on that track because it's been a while yet, so they're just being careful. I don't know. You guys let me know. Time for our kind of ending segments here. First up is disappointments of the night. I'm going to give honorable mentions to Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, for reasons that I kind of stated already. I'm not going to go too in-depth with that. But the main disappointment of the night was Tyler Reddick. Not saying that he was disappointing, right? It wasn't his fault that wreck that happened. Alex Bowman tried to cut down, and he ended up getting involved, and boom, he got spun out. And a course like that, it's hard to make up laps when you're down 3 or 4 laps after a wreck. Not disappointed in him, but disappointed for him, especially with his standing, trying to make the chase. He should still make the chase, no problem, but being that top guy, now falling to Hamlin, and now falling even more to Denny Hamlin in the points standings. Tough to see Tyler Reddick kind of go down like this. So disappointing for him, disappointing for his team, disappointing for his fans, but he was not the one who was disappointing. The race overall as a whole was disappointing for him, is the point I'm trying to make. But on a positive note, performances of the night, got to give an honorable mention to Todd Gilliland, 18th up to 8th. Who expected that? SVG, who expected him to be as good as he is on a short track like this? Maybe it is to be expected. He's been proving himself. I don't know. He seems like one of the top racers, and I think he's going to make the chase no problem. Ty Gibbs, another honorable mention. Again, he technically fell 2 spots. Not technically, he did fall 2 spots from where he started to where he finished. But all things considered, he raced a great race for his penalty and having to make up that ground. He did a great job. In a few more laps, he would have gotten himself in a 3rd, 2nd, maybe even overtook Logano. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little too excited for the guy. Last honorable mention, Chase Briscoe. Again, making up 27 spots in a race is amazing. Starting in 30th, going all the way up to 3rd. Huge for Chase Briscoe. But, of course, the performance of the night, you got to give it to Joey Logano, right? I mean, what can you say? He dominated the track in a way that, as I said, wasn't the most entertaining race to watch, but it was just like, wow, okay. Yep, he's here, and he's going to win this race. And look at that, he did. So performance of the night goes to Logano, but this is a diecast YouTube channel, right? So the most important thing about this race, to me, hopefully to you, is the paint scheme of the night. Who's going to get the paint scheme of the night award? Well, I am going to give 2 honorable mentions. Firstly, to AJ Allmendinger. I think that green grizzly paint scheme was phenomenal. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see it for too much, but when he was out there, you've seen it. It popped right in front of you. Super cool. I haven't seen it before, but granted, I don't see AJ Allmendinger too much when I'm watching races. That's no disrespect. It just is what it is. Other honorable mention, Bubba Wallace. I haven't mentioned him yet today, but Bubba Wallace, with that Coca-Cola soccer ball paint scheme that he had going, super unique. I mean, all the time. 2311 comes out with the craziest paint schemes, especially for Bubba Wallace. He's always got something different going on. That was a really cool one. I appreciated that one. But I think this is pretty obvious. I don't know about the rest of you guys. The Paint Scheme of the Night award goes to Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, with his Wendy's paint scheme. Do I really need to say it was awesome. It was awesome. It just looked great with a 97. I know we've seen quite a few Wendy's paint schemes before, Chastain has one, Suarez has one. This one blew them out of the park. I don't know. And again, the first time I've seen it, I don't know if he's ran that before. I thought it was amazing. I was absolutely blown away. But anyways, guys, that was North Wilkesboro weekend. Done, dusted. If you watched it, I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did. As I said, least favorite race, I still enjoyed the heck out of it. It was an awesome time. Indianapolis is going to be next weekend, the Brickyard 400. I am actually going to be there. Super excited for that. That's my first race in person. So I'm going to be there on Sunday for the Cup Series race. Not for the O'Reillys, not for any of the other races there, just for the Cup Series race. But I'm super excited to be going. I got a couple things planned. I got a couple more unboxings to do. I actually received a box not too long ago, so I'm going to be opening that one up. And I'm going to do some diecast showcases, kind of just showcase some of the old cars I got, some of the newer ones that I am getting here now with these diecast openings. Kind of just spotlighting a single car. Shorter videos, but we'll see what comes when. We'll see if you guys like them. Anyways, if you guys stuck around, thank you for tuning in. My name is Mike, and I'll see ya in the next one. Peace.